Hello? My brother.
Hi. Hello, brother.
Welcome to Summon Greater Podcast, the podcast about homebrew and
Homies.
homebrew
and homies.
Hey.
Tagline.
Did we just figure out what the open needs to be? After, what's this, 21 episodes?
Oh, man. There it is. Homebrew and homies. What is up,
Well,
my dude?
So much.
That's true.
So much is up.
So much is up.
Frankly. And to be honest, I'm sick of it.
Damn, dude, you
No,
right.
not really. I just want to talk about this game, to be so honest with you.
What game is that?
Risk of Rain.
Another one.
I play a lot of Risk of Rain.
You do. You play so much Risk of Rain.
For as long as you have known me, I have played a lot of Risk of Rain.
For as long as I have known you, you have been playing Risk of Rain.
Yes.
I think I've seen you shut it off like 3 times.
Oh my God. We met each other in college and we were roommates not long after. And for a long period of time, I would not shut off my computer, which is bad for your computer's health. Please at least restart your computer every so often. Holy God. And I would...
I say with my computer sitting back
there, right.
Just on.
So frequently I would just have Risk of Rain 2 open on my computer in our dorm room with my computer on like all the time. And I wouldn't shut it off because I knew I was going to come back to a run, because you can't save your runs without the proper save mod, which I eventually had and still left the game on all the time.
Our college dorm room had a soundtrack, and it was the Risk of Rain soundtrack.
Oh God. It was the Risk of Rain soundtrack, and it was Jaden Smith's CTV3.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Oh, dude, you played the fuck out of that.
I played
album.
the fuck out of it, and I would play it like specifically to go to sleep, which meant that I just would leave it on. I would leave that album on all the time in our room.
Oh, and Cyberpunk, because that's what I had on all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a hell of a college experience, guys.
Hell of a college experience and a hell of a dorm room.
Yeah.
Like,
ours was the best in the entire campus.
It was so good. Sometime I need to just like graph out what this thing looked like, because we had the most ideal setup. It cannot be topped.
And we also drove into the most janky part of Chicago to buy a Logitech speaker system from some dude in a back alley next to a dumpster.
Brother, best purchase of my life.
It is now residing in your apartment.
Yes.
We still have that thing, and it is still so good. It was in
perfect condition when we bought it for $50.
For $50.
Valued at $500.
It had the whole subwoofer and all of the speakers.
What a steal.
It was the deal of a lifetime.
It was. And it has been.
College nostalgia aside.
Yeah. I love Risk of Rain. It's hard to say exactly how many hours in that, because during that time in college when I was just leaving it on all the time, it was racking up hours on my Steam profile. So Risk of Rain 2 for me currently says it's approaching 3,000 hours. Which is so many, no matter how you look at it, even with the caveat of like I left it on.
Yeah.
I can't begin to guess what the actual number is, but it's less than 3,000. But I'm sure it's over 1,000.
You don't know how many days Risk of Rain 2 has been running on
I don't want to know that. I really don't want to know that.
You're about to be subjected to this, Sam. So you said roughly 3,000 hours on Steam, right?
2,912.
2,912? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me revise my number here.
I don't like this.
That is 122 days.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
That is 122 days of run time.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm thankful for?
What?
I'm thankful that Magic the Gathering doesn't have a Steam hour count because I would be even further.
Probably. That might be the case, yeah. Oh, that is so many, dude. Holy crap. I know a lot of that is lockdown too. It's crazy that a lot of that is lockdown because I played a ton of Animal Crossing also during lockdown.
Yeah.
Nowhere, it probably doesn't come near the amount of Risk of Rain 2 I played during that time.
No, but it probably also dwarfs the amount of time we spent on Animal Crossing during lockdown.
That might be. It does. God, what a failure of a person
Sam,
I was.
it's okay to be a gamer girl. Just accept it.
I am the hot boy gamer girl. It's so true. Man, I was brainstorming for character ideas for an episode a few episodes ago. And I was like, what games have I been playing recently that I can pull from? Just like right before we started the episode, and Skylar was like, what about Risk of Rain? Because of course I had been playing Risk of Rain Returns specifically because it just came out like a week and a half ago, I think. I want to talk about the characters therein, the survivors, as the game calls them.
Survivors.
Because they are designed to be rather nondescript and faceless. You know vaguely what these look like, I think.
Yeah, I've seen you play enough Risk of Rain 2. I kind of know.
Yeah, you know
what
that
the vibe of the game is.
They're kind of faceless and just meant to embody like a style.
Yeah,
a fighting style. Mm-hmm. So you can really just project an identity onto them. But that being said, they really have a lot of their own in many, many cases.
Yeah, they work a lot like classes.
That's what I'm saying, dude. So what I want to try to do is match up a class and subclass where I can to these little guys. Let's start with Commando. Commando is so simple and is designed to be the character that makes the most use of the most items in the game. Because Risk of Rain is nothing without its items. Commando is a dual pistol user. Just pap. That's most of what the gameplay is. And then you've got you got a combat roll, kind of hard one to pin down right off the bat in terms of a D&D class. So the best I have at the moment for Commando is fighter with the 2-weapon fighting style.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing a lot of special shit. The way the game characterizes the survivors is like, they're just kind of people who are here on accident, and they're weak as shit, and really nothing without their items to make them insane. So I think it is not really a cop-out. In fact, kind of appropriate to say Commando in particular is just like a very low-level fighter who hasn't necessarily chosen a subclass.
That's
fair.
If
you really wanted to, champion.
It sounds to me like you might have the crossbow master feat.
I did see that when I was looking at this, and that makes some sense to me, I think. I have to agree with that.
Yeah, because that lets you ignore the loading property, and you can bonus action get an offhand shot in with one. If you're doing like hand crossbows.
Yeah. That pretty well characterizes how he plays, I would say.
That's pretty sick.
Constant shooting, constant procs of your on-hit effects.
Nice.
That brings us to Huntress. This is obviously a ranger.
I was going to say, Huntress, what could they be?
Who could it be?
Silly paladin.
You know, she's got the laser bow for the primary, and then throws a bouncing glaive for the secondary, which I think is such an interesting little ability that it should be a magic item of its own.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's kind of similar to the shield we talked about in the last episode.
Boomerang shield.
From the Book of Many Things.
Yeah.
Kind of works exactly like that. And then the other main characteristic of Huntress is the blink, which is basically Tracer's blink. Mm-hmm. Just a very quick teleport.
I think that would be a really cool thing to have as like a homebrew subclass with the blinks.
Yeah.
I think that'd be sick.
That is interesting. I think I'll have to come back around to some of these.
Oh, yeah.
And make them subclasses because some of them, like hunters, are different enough that they could be something like that. But for now, just working from what we have in D&D, I went with Hunter Conclave because of Uncanny Dodge.
Yeah.
I feel like those match up just a little bit. Let's talk about Bandit. Let me send you a better photo of Bandit. He's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
This is about
Space Cowboy.
This is about as gunslinger as you can get. And I know that's not original source material, but I don't care. Like, I have to use that for this one in particular.
It's partnered content.
He's
Critical
the
Role
slingingest gunslinger
D&D.
that there is in the game. He's got the primary, which in Risk of Rain 2, you can choose between a shotgun and just like your basic rifle. He's got a shiv.
A shiv.
One of his secondaries is called the like throwing shiv or something, but he's got a dagger that causes status called hemorrhage, which is just like bleed but worse. It's a really good DOT.
That's damage over time for those of us who don't do these things very often.
His utility is a smoke bomb, which isn't necessarily a bomb. He goes invisible for a little bit, and then reappears after a moment. And the act of turning invisible and then reappearing are both low damage AoE.
Nice. So that reminds me of another game that I used to play a lot of and haven't played much at all recently because it kind of went to shit. Destiny 2.
Yeah.
For those of you who played Destiny 2, I'm sorry for saying it went to shit. I don't want to hurt any feelings. But also, imagine, if you will, the Void Hunter. They have exactly the same thing.
Oh.
Smoke grenade turns them invisible, does a tiny amount of damage over time, and it highlights enemies that get hit by it.
His special, Bandit's special is interesting. There are two different ones. I'll explain both of them. For both of these specials, he pulls the big iron off his hip.
Yeah!
And it's so literally just a big ass revolver.
Big iron on his hip.
Lights out is what it's called. If you kill an enemy with it, it resets all your cooldowns.
Oh, God.
And it's a heavy hit, but Lights Out itself is on a longer cooldown than everything else in this kit.
Okay.
But it also resets itself if you kill with it.
No way.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about that because that is so fucking sick.
if you're in front of like a horde of just a bunch of really low max health enemies, you just whip that thing out and pop.
It's high noon.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So much fun, dude.
I would love to have more abilities like that in D&D, where it's like if you land the killing blow, recharge X ability.
Yeah. You have to take a pause for just a second and talk about his alternate special. Desperado.
A double special boy.
Yes.
A double special Desperado.
This takes up the special slot. So you're sacrificing Lights Out if you pick this, which for utility purposes isn't recommended in runs, but like Desperado is so much fun that I don't care. If you kill with Desperado, which again is just a big iron shot, Desperado itself gets 10% stronger next time you use it.
Ooh.
And that bonus stacks.
That
so
is
every time you kill
so
with Desperado, you are dealing more and more damage.
Desperado.
Now I have to
copyright.
mention Bandit's passive ability. You deal critical hits from behind 100% of the time.
That is so cool.
If you can get behind an enemy and smoke bomb, make sure that you can.
Yeah.
You are dealing your crits.
Dude, Bandit needs to be an actual D&D class.
I was gonna say, I kind of want to make this a rogue subclass.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't have this passive crit, but I would have attacks
maybe-
from behind do extra damage.
Well, maybe it would be like a once per short or long rest thing.
Oh, maybe.
If you were behind an enemy.
Yeesh, dude.
Yeah, if you're behind an enemy and you land a strike, you can, once per short or long rest, you can turn that strike into a critical hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. And you could have
It should be once per long rest.
That'd be so interesting. You could have one of the features be Desperado.
Yeah. I mean, you could literally call it the bandit subclass.
I think so.
One.
I think so. Yeah. You totally could do that. This is very well fit for adaptation, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of potential with Bandit. I love Bandit. Let's move on from Bandit to the Enforcer. Only in Risk of Rain 1 and Returns, of course. But if you have Risk of Rain 2 on PC and you play modded, there's an extremely faithful Enforcer mod for Risk of Rain 2, and it's so good. And it looks like it's vanilla, you know?
Nice.
I think this is one of the ones I was having trouble with, actually. I was bouncing around like Paladin or something, but ultimately I'm having trouble. So Enforcer has a shotgun, but most of his identity lies in the big ass riot shield that he carries around. Which is like, you know, effectively a metal tower shield. You can do a charge with it. He also has an ability where you can like shield bash and knock enemies back like a considerable distance. I would call it 5 to 10 feet. And then stun grenade.
You could make it fighter. You could. I think it would be way more fun to do paladin, like you said. I think it just needs its own subclass.
Maybe, yeah.
Oath of crowd control.
Oath of crowd control. That's a little on the nose, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
No, I mean, you could easily, I mean, Oath of the Enforcer is right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You could totally do that. It's got an alternate special in the modded Risk of Rain 2 version where you throw a tear gas canister, and that could easily just be like a runic paladin field.
Or
you know? What?
Artificer.
That
would be a really diverse artificer.
Could be an
subclass.
artificer thing. This is hard to nail down to a class because a lot of this kit is focused on the shield, and you need something that can move shit at the very least.
Because the other thing that you could theoretically do, you could put most of Enforcer's kit on one single high rarity magic shield.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Shield of Amplified Force or something.
Ooh, that's got some range.
Kind of like how that sounds.
Yeah.
I think you're right. This is sounding like an item the more we talk about it.
Yeah, it lends a ton of flavor to any class that takes it.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to really pigeonhole it.
Yes. Let's talk about the Engineer.
Engineer.
This is about as much of an artificer as you can
I
possibly
was
get.
just going to say, I don't think we can go anything but artificer for someone called the Engineer.
And it's an artillerist. Just gonna say it.
Yeah.
Your main gimmick is placing down turrets. That you're immediately an artificer for that.
Yep.
I'm interested though in the utility in Risk of Rain 2. It's on the same key in Risk of Rain. You just fire 4 missiles from your fucking backpack.
Oh my God.
And they home in on anything. You get magic missile for free. Okay.
That's so sick.
That's what's up.
Honestly, I think it would just make magic missile an artificer spell. Like add it to the artificer's spell list.
I think you're right about that. That is how it would go.
I was trying to think of a really cool way to like somehow bring the infusions into it and maybe they would power it. But
I don't think it needs to be.
No, I forgot
think
that
you're
artificers
right.
are also spellcasters.
Yeah, they are that. I forget that often because they have so much.
There's so much going on.
They can do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
For real. An alternate utility is you place down a force bubble. That's like I want to call that 15 feet in diameter. It's a sphere. Entities can go through it. Projectiles cannot.
The Halo bubble shield.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
sick.
And you can also place down mines
I like mines.
or spider mines if you want.
Ooh.
Which is very. Oh God, this is very much in line with a homebrew thing I created for Artificer a while ago, where you know the turrets that you can place down. It's the flamethrower, the force damage one that's just like
Yeah.
force bullets, you know,
Or the little stim package one.
or the
Healy boy.
the temporary health.
Yeah.
For every bonus action, you can activate that. That's a good one. I like that one. I talked with I never got to actually use this before I left that campaign, but I talked to my DM in this campaign where I played an artificer about adding a fourth type of turret that is just a kamikaze turret.
Oh, I love that.
It runs at you and it explodes. That I think this, if this were an artificer subclass, would have that added to the pool of turrets I can use.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be so cool.
I want to make this now. Oh shit. Let's talk about I don't even know if I want to talk about the miner. I don't know what to call this. You two weapon fighter. You've got two pickaxes, and this is really gimmicky. As you obtain gold, which you get by killing enemies and Risk of Rain, you swing the pickaxes faster. Okay, maybe there's a magic item there. Maybe there's a magic item there.
I think that's a magic item. I think you're right.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's a crazy cracked out melee fighter.
if I had to throw it into a class and subclass, I would go Battle Master Fighter.
Probably.
Because you've got the maneuvers.
That's true. That's okay. This is a very much a maneuver thing. Yeah. I would say it's right at home there.
Yeah. I do think that the pickaxe, the axe that deals or like you gain more attacks per action or deals more damage based on how much gold you have on you is really fucking funny.
Yeah, I think that genuinely would be a pretty interesting item.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you make it really expensive.
Yeah.
So like you buy it and then you're like, I got a sick new pickaxe, and it's like, hey, this does better when you have more gold. And
Exactly.
Like, oh.
It's like, but I spent it all on the pickaxe. That's really funny.
Damn it.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Mercenary is the samurai subclass.
Ooh.
And I hardly need to elaborate. You have a laser sword that you swing around, and you have a spin move, and you have a dash that you can use again up to 3 times if you hit an enemy with it.
Oh, it's Genji.
Yes. Yes.
So samurai.
Yeah. And then there's there's an alternate version of that dash in Risk of Rain 2 where like you just get one, you pass through enemies with it, and then like a second later they go ping 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 and take the damage.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a very anime looking move, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh my omu. Shinderu.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you've got one where you like disappear into like, you know, a flash of after images and blades. Yeah, anyway, as samurai as it comes, that's about as far as you can go with it.
I could see the mercenary being really good for the I can't remember the exact name of it. Do you remember the lunar samurai subclass that I made for monk?
Yeah.
I think that would be a really fun one.
It is kind of in line with that, I think. Yeah, you're right. Do you have that written down somewhere?
Oh god, it's
You don't have to pull it up right now. I just want to look at it at some point.
Yeah, I'll find it somewhere.
Risk of Rain's Artificer is just a wizard. It's not a D&D.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's like the purest spellcaster possible in Risk of Rain. You throw fire bolts or like a plasma shot, or like actually maybe there's no, it's a wizard. It's a wizard through and through. Yeah, you get like a flamethrower spell that's literally just burning hands. It's exactly burning hands. Like I think they looked at burning hands and said that's the special. We're making that the special.
Nice.
And then she's got a move that I forget the name of, but like it just launches you way up into the air, and then you can float around. You get a slow descent.
Okay.
And you can just kind of hover all over the map.
So it's like a combination of like reverse gravity and then levitate kind of a thing. I mean, I'm overcomplicating it, but
it's just very, very slow descent.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of horizontal movement with it. Yeah, Evocation Wizard. Drifter, though. Drifter's very interesting. This is a new survivor specifically to Risk of Rain Returns. This is going to take us back to a subclass in 1D&D that we talked about a little bit ago called the Brawler. Drifter's main gimmick is you make temporary items for yourself and your allies.
That's cool.
So it's very much got an improvised weapon vibe to it, because literally you have a big backpack that you carry around with you, and you beat the shit out of people with it. And then you use the items.
Tavern Brawler.
Yes, exactly. And then you use the items that they drop. I want that Brawler subclass to be a thing in the next iteration of D&D so badly.
Sadly, it's sounding like it won't.
Shut the fuck up. And I think this is it. I hope they bring it back in a playtest and just like a different form.
If they don't bring it back, someone's going to have it as a custom homebrew.
If they don't bring it back, I don't think they're going to abandon the idea either. I think it'll just be a feat at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of already have Tavern Brawler, but it'd be nice if they did a little bit more with it.
Yes. The Railgunner. I will talk about the Sniper, but I'm going to talk about the Railgunner first. I kind of just want to call this champion, and it's because of the crit bonuses that champion gets.
Oh.
Railgunner is the spiritual successor to Risk of Rain 1's Sniper.
I mean, you could play a ranged champion fighter.
Yeah.
Why does no one do that? That'd be sick as fuck, dude.
This is the only character in the game that has a first person mode.
Really?
Through her scope.
Oh.
The secondary just scopes you in. And when you're scoped in, you can see highlighted weak points on enemies. It's usually like in the head, or for the stone golems, it's in the eye, or like the end of the tentacles for the wandering vagrants.
Nice.
I love this character a lot. I enjoy this one so much.
That is so cool.
But when you hit those weak points, you do crits. That's in fact the only way you can do crits. You don't have a crit chance as Railgunner.
It's just like a critical location on the creature.
Yeah. I kind of want to lump Sniper in with the champion build. It's a Sniper in Risk of Rain 1 plays more along the lines of like just use your spotter drone to highlight an enemy and then do more damage to the enemy that your spotter is on. That's like the majority of the gameplay.
Oh, okay.
You have,
So
you
it's
have
like
a combat backflip and all that.
Critical debuff kind of a thing.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like the scissors dagger that we talked about in the last episode.
It is sort of like that. It is sort of like that. Yeah. It would be so cool if it like applied that effect for the rest of your party in Risk of Rain.
Hold on.
What?
I literally freaking awesome magic item idea. So you know the Ioun stones?
Yeah.
How they usually orbit you and give you a buff?
That's exactly the spotter drone, actually.
Yeah, if you can just whoop and throw it and like have it latch onto somebody else.
Yeah.
And then that creature gets crit on like a 19 to 20.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I like that.
That's super fun.
That's a good way to do that. So Loader is one of my favorite classes in Risk of Rain 2 in particular. I find it kind of unwieldy in the original. Basically, you have this big like upper body exoskeleton, most of which is accounted for by the arms. And you swing them around and you do big punches. And when you hit, you gain a little bit of barrier, or what is in Risk of Rain temporary decaying extra health.
Okay.
But you gain a little bit more of that just like starts decaying immediately as you hit with the arms.
Okay. This is giving, sorry, I'm comparing everything to something else. I apologize. Brigitte from Overwatch.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of right on the money with that, especially in this effect. The secondary is the most ridiculous and fun part of this character. It's a grappling hook. Just like it's a grappling fist though. Like you fire one of the arms.
Grab.
Yeah. This is, everyone loves the experience of like grappling the head of the magma worm. Which just like is this colossal fucking worm that appears as a teleporter boss that like jumps out of the ground and then like,
oh yeah,
and you just hang on to that and you're in for the ride of your life. It's like holding on with one arm and swinging wildly with the other when you get chances to.
Amazing.
I don't know what to call that. Your utility, which is a big part of the character's identity, is just a charged punch that goes in a straight line, and depending on which utility you choose, can either pierce through a bunch of enemies, or when it hits one, it'll basically do Thunder Wave in front of it.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, really cool looking.
That's awesome.
And one of my favorite abilities to use. There are two specials, but the only one I feel like talking about is the pylon. You can throw like this little drone that like shocks everything around it. This is very much a artificer kind of thing, but the main purpose, or one of the main purposes in doing this, is that you can grapple onto it.
Ooh,
and you get a lot of mobility like that.
Nice. You can kind of Spider-Man your way around with that shit.
You really do. Like this is the Attack on Titan ODM build or class. This is also Battle Rager Barbarian.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can see it.
Very much just swing to your heart's content with Reckless Abandon.
Battle Rager Barbarian specifically, who has been equipped by the Artificer.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's fun. Ooh.
That's one thing that like I don't consider often enough when I consider the Artificer class, is the fact that they can build most of their stuff for someone else.
That's the thing. Like when I was playing an Artificer last, I wanted to focus on playing support, because it's so much fun just to see like the stupid shit you can make your barbarian do with that class.
Yeah.
I love that.
I have such a hard time playing support. I've like really tried to force myself to do it more recently because I want to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But I am, oh God, when it comes to D&D, it's so bad. I am such a spotlight whore in D&D, in combat specifically. Like, I want to do the most damage.
See, for me, it's a ton of fun to chase the moments where you like, you know, you throw up, I don't know, Liamon's Tiny Hut, or you cast haste on your monk.
Yeah. Which is,
or
fuck that.
You're or you're always ready with the fairy fire. Yeah. Or something like that. Like you've always got something for your party, and every now and then you make one of them turn around and be like, really? You can do that?
Hell yeah.
And now I can do this.
Yeah. And see, like, that is really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. I always struggle with that because my mentality is not a good one when it comes to this. The way I look at it, I have such a bad combat mentality in D&D, because I am almost always going, what is going to interact with, impair, or damage the enemy as much as possible. I'm rarely ever looking at like, how can I do something that has absolutely no effect right now, but that will set up someone else later.
Yeah.
Because like, I think what it is, I don't have a sense of we have enough time. Like I have such a time urgency thing when it comes to combat. I'm like, we need to finish this in as few rounds as possible.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting now that I realize that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to actually do some work on that in myself. But that's so weird.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. Like I'm sure I think what you and I could maybe do in preparation for like a new campaign at some point is work on a pre-existing synergy.
That'd be nice.
In which you are like, you've maybe been traveling with my character and you've learned how best to support them.
Like some preconceived combos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be super sick.
DM wouldn't love it.
I mean, it depends on the DM.
That's-
Some DMs
okay,
would
yeah,
fucking
you know,
love
maybe
that.
they might. I could see Bailey in particular being like, yeah, go for it. Like,
That would be oh god, I already know what character I would play too. I have down to the multi-class in the feeds.
oh shit.
God damn it.
Okay, we'll definitely
Why
have
do
to
you
talk
do
about
this
this
to
later.
me?
I'm glad I do, man. Fuck yeah.
I need to write this down like right now.
Do it. I'm at the end of my list because pretty much everything else here has a ton of question marks next to it. Acrid, for one, is a big fucking leaping lizard monster that deserves a monster stat block.
Is its name Acrid?
Acrid.
That's insane.
Let me show you how it looks.
Oh my god, I love him.
Yeah. Hope you just released a plush of Acrid.
I want him.
I want it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, Acrid like has a poison bite and a claw attack that heals him a little bit. And a frenzied leap that does AoE poison damage where he lands. One ability that just like spits poison bile as a projectile, and then another one that does that, but it also infects everything in the immediate vicinity of the target.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this is a monster that I would love to build.
Okay, here's a thought.
Uh-huh.
I don't know exactly how we would make this happen, but
Toxicologist subclass.
But why don't we have any monstrous classes?
Okay.
We
So you're scaring me? What the fuck do you mean?
We have monstrous races.
Yeah.
Why don't we have monstrous classes?
I don't know, Skylar.
Why can't we take something like...
Oh, God.
Right? Like, why can't we take something like a bullet and make a class out of its abilities?
Huh. All right.
Or something like... I don't know. Like, I was going to say gelatinous cube, but it doesn't have enough really abilities.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, a monster. Like, we have lizard folk as a playable race. We have hobgoblins. Like, we have what are technically monstrous races. Can you imagine a lizard folk character playing a monstrous class that is acrid?
Yeah, I can. Oh, what a weird little thought, man.
How sick would that be? Okay, maybe not even going as so far as to say monstrous classes. Maybe a monstrous subclass. Maybe that's a barbarian subclass.
Yeah. This is so weird
Like
and
the
gross.
whole AoE spitting acid thing,
Yeah.
I think it deserves to be playable.
I get what you're talking about. I do. It seems like, how would you come into that position? I feel like you get cursed or something.
I think it would be cursed or like the lizard from Spider-Man. The guy who like injects himself with lizard DNA to try and regrow his arm.
Totally.
If there's some kind of like, maybe it's a blood lineage thing. Maybe it's you were the subject of like a mad scientist's experiment or something.
Yeah.
Like there's the Simic hybrid class
Oh.
where like you were an experiment, and so you have like gills or you have like manta wings or whatever. A really, really good starting point for this would be the Order of the Mutant Blood Hunter.
Oh, yeah. It would be, wouldn't it?
But Order of the Mutant Blood Hunter would be like the class and subclass that has perfected and mastered this. But I think it deserves to have subclasses in other classes where it's like been foisted upon you.
Yeah.
And you're learning to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of these like monstrous subclasses being curses is really enticing to me.
Because that can also give you the option of like later on down the line, you get your curse removed. Maybe you pick a new subclass. Maybe you pick a new class entirely.
Right. Man, this is like a whole source book of a concept.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm into that. It's a lot of like if you did something like that, like force someone into a different subclass, that's a lot of DM interference, but I really like the concept of a player willingly choosing to make a character that way, hoping to eventually be free of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like people choosing to play like as a werewolf or something like that. Like, you have a curse.
Yeah.
And you're going to go through the game with this curse, and maybe it gets cured. Maybe your curse is lifted.
Right.
Or maybe it's not, and you just become really, really good at utilizing it.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of cool shit to think about.
Yeah, man.
I like it so much.
We're gonna have to like listen back the whole episode and be like, all right, write that down.
Hang on a second. Wait. Yeah. So the last few things here, we're low on time anyway, and I want to talk about some items, but like the rest of these are robots. And it's just like, they're Warforged, lol. But also like two of these, Hand D, let's talk about. He's a Risk of Rain 1 character. This is a nondescript barbarian. You punch and you swing a hammer that stuns and launches enemies into the air, and you have an ability that is most definitely rage that increases your attack speed. Right?
Yeah.
Likewise with Multi and Risk of Rain 2. Actually, this is I don't know what to call Multi. He's a weird little guy that has a bunch of different weapons that he can put on his little robot arms, and he can turn into a car briefly, and like not a literal car, but like this guy's on wheels, and he's got a move that's just like charge forward really fast and knock everything out of the way.
Gotcha.
And you have armor during it and all that.
It sounds similar to Engineer in an offensive way rather than a defensive way.
Maybe so. And maybe parts of these are like Artificer or Artificer turret things.
Maybe. That one honestly almost sounds like it could be a monk subclass though. Specifically utilizing movement and specializing in specific weapons.
Maybe.
Like,
yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there because, like, I think it would be fun to take Monk in weird directions.
Yeah. I don't know. Multi is it's so specifically a robot that I can't really seeing it being anything but.
Gotcha.
I think.
Gotcha.
Like it's the most human you could make Multi is something like Mega Man.
Okay.
Where you're switching out like the arm attachments all the time. But like this thing just like looks like a box with a head. Like it's a very Wall-E looking machine.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then you have the chef. Okay, maybe the chef is kind of unique. It's also a robot, but it looks goofy as shit. He's got these long ass arms that just like are spaghettied out. Yeah.
He is the can.
Yeah.
And Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. You throw meat cleavers that act like boomerangs.
Amazing.
And you have a dash that leaves a trail of oil behind you, and then you ignite it.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
He's funny. Again, I'm not going to bother to call him anything. Just That's a robot.
That'll be your task.
That's a robot thing.
You tell us in the comments what you think chef should be.
Yeah. So a lot of items in this game are just meant to affect stats. Like you've got your soldier syringe that increases your attack speed, and then the crowbar, which allows you to deal more damage to enemies that are at higher health, which isn't necessarily something you can see in D&D. And like if you chose to implement something like this, even as a magic item, it would be a lot of like DM math going on.
Well, I think it wouldn't be too outside the realm of possibility to have it deal additional damage in stages based on the enemy's CR.
I don't know if I know what you mean.
So like the enemies have challenge ratings.
Yeah.
If you say like weapon deals damage normally against creatures of CR 0 to 5.
I see what you mean. So specifically, the crowbar is looking at health in relation to max health of an enemy. So if an enemy is undamaged, it's going to do the most damage.
Oh, it's sequentially against the creature.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where the DM math comes in, because like no one's seeing what that's doing.
Well, maybe you could just, I mean, it would be heavily dumbing it down, but you could make it just a magic weapon that, you know how there are some magic weapons that say it deals an extra damage die if the enemy is below their maximum HP or below half or something like that. Maybe you could say it deals like 2 additional damage dice against enemies that have not lost health.
Okay. Yeah. That is all you need to do, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because, I mean, you're not going
right.
to have the scaling, like, depending on how much health they have left.
Yeah.
But to be able to say, like, this one hasn't been hit yet, don't touch it, let me have this, donk,
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Some other basic shit like Paul's goat hoof is literally just you move faster.
Paul's goat hoof?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, just making sure I heard that one correctly there. Gotta just listen close for the goat hoof, specifically the one that belongs to Paul.
You know, some of these I definitely like laughed at really hard when I first opened the game and I didn't think about ever again. But that one is hilarious. There are a few items in the game that are named after the devs. That's what's going on with that.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, can you tell me again what it does? Because I heard nothing.
It makes you
after
move
Paul's
faster.
goat hoof. Increase movement speed. Okay.
We have that.
Yeah, that's easy enough to do. That's sick.
Bustling fungus is kind of interesting after standing.
Fussling bungus.
That's right, dude. That's what everybody calls it. Yeah.
Yes.
You got it. You got the meme immediately.
I'm in.
Bustling bungus, baby. After standing still for 2 seconds, you start to slowly heal.
Oh, okay.
I think there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, you could do pretty easily, like, if you move, if you don't move during your turn, maybe you regain like hit points equal to your proficiency bonus or something at the end of the turn.
Yeah, I think so. Or like one of your hit die, maybe.
Yeah, hit dice is probably better.
Yeah,
because that way it's not like an unlimited thing.
A bunch of on hit effects. So many in this game. In fact, Taser gives you a chance to snare on hit, which is just like briefly immobilize an enemy, paralyze them for 1 turn maybe. And it's like a low chance that happens. Roll like a 19 or 20.
I was gonna say
maybe
you could make it like
to,
if you crit.
Yeah, maybe it is something like that. And then of course every item in this game is also stacking, so you could make that chance a little bit higher. As
go like uncommon, rare, and then very rare.
Exactly. Yeah.
Increase the crit range, the trigger range from 20 to 19 to 18.
Yep.
That's cool.
So you could do that for that. You could do that for something like a Rusty Knife or Tri-Tip Dagger. They cause bleed in their respective games.
Okay.
could do that for
bleed damage is something that's not utilized often enough in D&D.
Nope. And I think it should be. I think there are a few things that should be doing that.
I really, really think Blood Hunter should apply bleed as just part of the class.
That's kind of crazy powerful.
I mean, I don't think it should
have I think they should have a chance.
Well, I don't think it should be like very strong, and I think
see.
it should be a chance. But like, I think an intrinsic part of the Blood Hunter class should be like when you hit with an attack, creature must make like a Constitution saving throw, or take 1 stack of bleed, dealing 1d4 damage.
Yeah,
at the beginning of their turn for like 2 turns.
I agree with that.
I just think it makes Blood Hunter more thematic.
So we've been in the common category here for items. There are many more than what I've mentioned, like so many more. But I'm talking about some of the most interesting ones. Let's move up a rarity here. 10% chance on hit to fire a missile that does some damage. Whenever it says an amount of damage in this game, it's a multiplier, in this case 300% of what your base damage stat is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which increases as your level increases.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of the items in Risk of Rain, if we translate them to D&D, would have a lot to do with your proficiency bonus.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. I like that. This, I think, would be really well flavored as like a chance on weapon hit or unarmed hit to fire exactly one magic missile.
That's cool. Yeah.
I think that would be fun. And then there's a legendary item version of this that does 3. Has a chance to fire 3 of them. And that's just like, that's definitely on hit impromptu magic missile.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in green is also dedicated to on hit effects, like ukulele. Ukulele. It's one of the most recognizable Risk of Rain items. You have a chance on hit to fire, for lightning to fire from the enemy you hit to the ones surrounding it.
That definitely happens when you play ukulele.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, depending on who starts singing along.
Let's touch on the Frost Relic. Killing an enemy temporarily surrounds you with 3 icicles that deal some damage in the space around you.
Ooh, that sounds like an adaptation of Spirit Guardians.
Yeah, it does. And they last for 12 seconds, let's say.
Yeah, like 2 rounds you get.
That's a neat little one I think could be adapted. Ceremonial Dagger.
Ooh.
I think this could be a literal magic dagger. And if you kill with it, it fires out 4 spiritual daggers that home in on an enemy of your choice.
I think it would be really fun to flavor that as specifically a throwing dagger.
Ooh.
Like, obviously you can make it trigger if you just stab someone with it, but if you make it so that the spiritual daggers come if you make a ranged attack with it and hit.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool because you could do like echoes of that dagger going through the person.
That's pretty cool.
And then hitting someone else.
Yeah. Happiest Mask. Killed enemies spawn friendly ghosts. Versions of themselves that stick around for 15 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah. Feel like we have something like that.
We have a few effects that let you like raise people as shadows or like take their souls as they die.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool for that to be an actual like theater mask item where when a creature dies within like 30 feet of you that you can see, you can entreat that creature's spirit to essentially make one final act, but in your favor, seeing you as a friend. And so like you could basically say, you could kind of yoink that creature's like attack or a spell that creature could cast or something, and on your next turn you can forego your action to use theirs.
Jeez. Wow. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think limited use to like number of times equal to your proficiency modifier or proficiency bonus. But yeah, I think that would be really, really cool.
It would, yeah. Last red item I'll talk about here, the Aegis. Healing past full health grants you temporary barrier. I think you heal past your max HP, that healing is temporary HP. Which is busted, but like so is this item.
I think this also sounds, I know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like take over all of this, but like I think this item sounds like either a very rare or possibly even a legendary item that would be like a periapt like necklace kind of a thing. That, like you said, when you heal past your maximum hit points, you get temporary HP. But I think this magic item lets you stack temporary HP as well.
I agree. Yeah. I totally agree with that. That's basically the exact effect of this item.
Okay.
In Risk of Rain.
Sick.
Yeah.
Because like there are so many ways to get temporary HP, and it's always like, oh, temp HP doesn't stack, so you know which one do you want to use? I think having like a legendary item that lets you stack temp HP would be so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't break the game; it just gives you more longevity.
Yep. Said that was the last one. It's not. The umbrella.
Umbrella.
There's no description for this in game, and it's annoying. Well, there is if you, but not like while you're doing a run. It just says they fear the rain when you pick it up, which is kind of badass.
Shit.
Yeah. Basically, when you activate the teleporter, rain begins for 15 seconds. It stuns, damages, and weakens enemies. And it's like it's a little bit of damage, but the big thing is the stun and the extra damage you do in the rain. This is just a magic umbrella that has a charge or two per day that you pull out, and it summons the rain for 18 seconds, say. What?
I just had a really fucking sick idea.
What?
So, 1 or 2 charges per day, I agree with that. When you roll initiative, you may choose to set your initiative to 1. If you do so, it summons the rain.
Yeah.
And all of your allies for the first turn of combat crit on an 18 to 20. And all enemies within like a 30-foot radius have their movement speed reduced to 10 feet. I mean,
That's
obviously
so,
we can tweak that. That's like really fucking, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but no, your head's totally in the right place with how this works. That's crazy, man.
Not only is it badass, it's also it would make it like one of the best support items in the game.
It would. Oh, that's so insane. I think that would be a once per day thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And only once. God damn it. That's so good.
Honestly, it might even be like once every 1d4 days.
Probably. You're probably right about that.
Which really, when you think about it, doesn't actually nerf it that much.
No.
Because you're not having extremely vital combat
Yeah.
back to back,
Yeah.
like day to day.
You're usually not fighting wild ass bosses 2 days in a row.
right.
I think.
Unless
not.
your DM's insane.
Yeah, of course, which can happen.
Does actually.
It's been known to happen. So, I don't know.
Maybe think about this one, but pretty good pickup.
Yeah.
All in all.
Oh, God damn it. Can I talk just a little bit longer?
Yeah. We'll have a little bit longer episode.
All right. I have a lot to say.
I think actually really quick before
Yeah.
you do that, This episode's going up the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is.
So this will be our Thanksgiving gift to you guys. You get a little bit longer episode, but honestly, legitimately, please let me say thank you to all of you and also to you, Sam, for doing this with me.
Hell yeah.
This is honestly one of my favorite things I have ever done in my life.
Yeah. This is a really valuable creative outlet for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be able to share it with you guys and to already have a community starting to form and people being able to reach out to us and talk to us.
Yeah.
It feels really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And thank you for that. Thank you for letting me say that because that just popped into my head and I was like, Thanksgiving.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, in particular, I would love to shout out just, I should save this for the end of the episode, but whatever.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'd love to shout out just everybody who has contributed in some way.
Yeah.
Sophia, for sure, for being willing to join us for an episode and just unload.
And Josh for being our first unwitting guest.
Yeah, he did do that. That was funny. It was really good timing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Jacob, in particular.
Yeah.
I've taken just personally to calling him our sorcery correspondent. That's what he is to me.
There you go, Jacob. You're the sorcery guy.
I appreciate that. Dude, I am so serious about sending us shit whenever you want. Please do. Yeah. We'd love doing that. And all the other little cherubs that have hit us up in comments and DMs.
Yeah, for sure.
Asking us to talk about their stuff. We have appreciated that every single time it's happened. We, of course, encourage you to send that to our socials or our email address, but we'll
we'll give the full pitch later.
Yeah.
But now back to the chaos.
So there is a specific class tier, really, of items in Risk of Rain 2 only that I want to talk about. They're called lunar items.
Ooh.
They're interesting, dangerous even. They have an upside and a downside for every one of them. So let's talk about like the quintessential lunar item. Shaped glass is just like it's a big glass sword looking thing.
Okay.
It's kind of gnarly looking. Halves your health and doubles your damage.
Ooh,
and that's
I love those effects.
Yep. And of course, this is stackable.
Lord.
And if you choose to stack it, you have your health again.
And double your damage again.
Double your damage again.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Are there any items that heal you on hit? I feel like there are.
In the game, plenty. Yeah. Yeah. Like there's Leeching Seed, which heals you like literally on every hit for just like 1 health. But, you know, if you're playing something like Commando, that adds the fuck up. And then, of course, that stacks and it's like 1 more damage per hit.
Nice.
Per stack.
Yeah, because I immediately thought of in D&D, specifically for the monk, and these are already just fucking busted items. The gloves of soul catching for the monk. Have you not heard of this?
What's that?
Oh, hold on, homie, I'm coming. Hold on, I gotta find it. Gloves of soul catching. This is a legendary magic item.
Yeah.
Requires attunement. It's not technically for the monk, but the monk is who utilizes it the most. Your constitution score is 20 while you wear these gloves.
Wow.
This property of the gloves has no effect on you if your constitution is already 20 or higher. After making a successful unarmed strike while wearing these gloves, you can use the gloves to deal an extra 2d10 force damage to the target, and you regain hit points equal to the force damage dealt. Alternatively, instead of regaining hit points in this way, you can choose to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw you make before the end of your next turn. Notably, there is no limit to how many times you can apply that force damage.
Oh.
It is just upon a successful unarmed strike.
Whoa.
So imagine a monk
flurry of blows.
Yeah.
Maybe
2 attacks per action, and then flurry of blows for 3 more.
God.
That's 10d10 force damage.
That's stupid.
and you're regaining that many hit points if you hit all of it.
Oh no. Wow.
So imagining that item on a monk using these, double your damage output.
Yeah.
I mean, half your health at that point, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Wow. Jeez.
Crazy shit.
That's a wild effect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you can also, what's even crazier, you can also run these on a barbarian. If you wanted to go in with an unarmed barbarian route.
Yeah.
Because you take like a couple levels of fighter to get a fighting style. And then
Yeah.
you take the unarmed fighting style. Where if you're not wearing a shield and not holding a weapon, your unarmed attacks do 1d8 plus your strength.
Sheesh.
And
Yeah.
even if you have a shield, your unarmed strikes deal 1d6 plus your strength.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with those gloves.
It's
Totally just hijacked everything. I'm so sorry.
it's a little bit Yuji Itadori.
Yes. I think I'm picturing the correct person.
The Jujutsu Kaisen main character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love his ability so much. It just
Hell yeah.
feels good the way they describe it and everything.
Right.
You also made me think about another common item in Risk of Rain, the med kit. When you take damage, any damage from any source, and then you don't get hit for a few seconds, we would probably call it 6. You regain some HP, and it's a low amount. It's 10% per stack.
Yeah.
So you could call it you would call it like a D4,
Yeah.
right? That would work pretty well, I think.
That'd be cool. I think the one downside to having all these healing effects in battle in D&D is that a lot of times people don't want combat to run longer.
That's true. That is true.
But if you're healing yourself, I think it kind of negates that
It might.
because you don't want to die either.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, you're right, because like even then,
I mean, as long as it's not like you regain half your health like at each of your turns, because
Yeah.
then it's like combat doesn't
that's
even
crazy.
feel. Yeah, combat doesn't even feel like important at that point.
And maybe this is like a limited use thing,
Yeah.
just like everything can be. There's balancing to be done with everything. Nothing in Risk of Rain is perfectly adaptable, but there's a
Right.
lot to think about with every item that we look at here, I think.
For sure.
Stoneflux Pauldron, another lunar. You double your health, you have your movement speed.
Oh,
That's
fascinating.
there are a couple things in the lunar item pool that just straight up double your health and then
Similar effects.
or double a stat, have another.
Yeah.
You
That's really interesting. I feel like that's something that could really easily translate.
It could, and I think that is one of the fastest ways to break balance.
That one specifically. Double your health, have your movement speed.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about monks. They already wind up at like at level 20. They get like 60 feet of movement speed.
Yeah.
And if they double their health, go from like, let's say they're at 150 at level 20, they go to 300, and then they just go back to moving at normal human being speeds.
Right. That's crazy. Fuck.
I would definitely make those like artifact rarity, and I think they would come with like, you know how a lot of them have like randomly determined minor, major, detrimental effects, beneficial effects.
Yeah.
I think there'd be a couple of those in there as well, as well as the like double this, have that.
I think so. Those are about the only lunar items that are really like adaptable in any sense. But there are 4 in here that are a set. that I want to think about a little bit. These are the visions, strides, hooks, and essence of heresy.
Ooh.
If you pick up all 4 of them, you turn into a different survivor altogether called the heretic.
Oh.
It's a weird bird looking thing that has its skills entirely comprised of the skills that these items give you. These items alone are worth thinking about just because of what they themselves do. Visions of Heresy is meant to replace your primary skill with a different one called Hungering Gaze, which fires a flurry of tracking shots that latch on to the enemy closest, or an enemy that you choose, and then detonate after a little bit, dealing their damage in that moment. Strides replaces your utility skill. You fade away from existence for 6 seconds, and then you heal a little bit of health, and then you come back. That's probably one of the most adaptable to a magic item of this set.
Boots that allow you to step into the ethereal plane and roll a hit dice.
Yeah. Hooks of Heresy, you throw a little bomb, basically, that just hovers in the air. Essence of Heresy is interesting. For every hit you deal, you add a stack of ruin. We'll just call this, for the sake of D&D, a ruin count. Every time you hit an enemy, their ruin count increases by 1. When you choose to, let's say, take an action to activate this Essence of Heresy, which looks like a weird, alien heart, basically.
Nice.
You detonate all of those stacks of ruin. 4 of damage. Necrotic, we'll say.
I feel like you could go higher.
Could you?
I think you can make it like a D8, D10 of damage per count. Well, because
you're not hitting that often. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And also, if you make it so there's a saving throw where they take half damage, I think that could make sense.
Yeah.
Potential for really high damage, but also potential for them to make it not super insane.
Yeah. That's one I could see adapting.
Hell yeah.
Kind of like that.
I think you could adapt all of them and leave the hooks out, because it's kind of like the least
That's
necessary.
the least interesting.
Yeah, least
I think.
necessary.
Yeah.
I think you could very easily do the exact same thing in D&D as they are trying to do in Risk of Rain. Because there are what? There'd be 3 of them total, right? Minus the hooks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a Vecna situation.
Yeah. Attunable magic items.
Yeah.
Where they replace one of your class effects. And then if someone so chooses to take on all 3, their class changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then it would replace a couple class passives back at level 1, level 3 kind of a thing. And then they would gain a brand new class ultimate at level 17 or something like that.
That is all the Risk of Rain I feel like talking about, but goddamn, it was a whole lot.
That was fun, dude.
At some point, I'm going to adapt some of the monsters in this game and present those, because all of them are worth looking at.
Yeah.
Under the scope of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
They're very interesting.
Yeah. And I think there are a ton of other games out there too that would be equally fun to break down this.
Yes, for sure.
I have a couple in my head that I think would be really, really cool, but we want to hear what you guys think. Is there a game that you play that you think you would love for us to talk about or break down in this way? I don't know if it's got enough content, we can maybe do a full episode on it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So let us know.
I want to hear what someone thinks about Hades personally.
Yeah. Hades. One of the other ones that popped into my head was very, very similar to Risk of Rain, I think. Dead Cells.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's There's so much content in that game. It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Every weapon that you get in that game could be something. Like the lightning whip is literally the lightning lure spell.
Uh-huh.
That's how I think about it every time it's used.
Yeah. Yeah. So much content. So many other games we can talk about. Let us know which ones you want us to hit. We might even pull some really out of the box ones. I've been thinking about possibly talking about Destiny.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Which
you've mentioned that a couple times, and,
yeah.
and from what you've shown me, I think there's a lot of stuff to work with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It goes in a different direction from D&D because obviously Destiny uses guns, but I think some of them have effects that could translate really well to regular weapons in D&D.
Yeah, I mean that's something I had to think about with Risk of Rain. Also, is like there's a lot of gunplay in that game, but also like a lot of ways that you could branch off from that.
Right. A lot of it is just how are you applying damage?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day, I think.
Hell yeah.
If you've got a game that you really want to just buckle down and hyper focus on for an hour and a half like this, you should tell us which one. And if you have specific ideas, I really, really want you to send them to @summongreater on Twitter or summongreaterpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We definitely check the email more than the Twitter because nobody has sent anything to the Twitter, and that's fine because Twitter's dying. Fuck it, man.
Yep. Let it die, let it die.
Please email us your things or DM us on any of our socials. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and you can't DM us on YouTube. That's not a thing that exists.
Comment on YouTube.
Comment on YouTube. We'll talk about your shit, I promise.
And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.